Welcome to your magic moon message, ladies and gentlemen. The moon is in Cancer and the sun is in Leo. So we are closing out the Aquarius signature, and we will, at the end of the moon in Cancer, bring in the Pisces signature. The sun will reach about 27 degrees Leo, and then the moon will hit 27 degrees Cancer, being 330 degrees away from the sun, enacting the balsamic phase. Interesting. Fusion floors. I just saw a card that said fusion floors. So, this balsamic phase of release, transcendence, and surrender will release the emotions that get in the way of you performing your best. We can look at Cancer in the 12th house of Leo as the makeup artist room behind the curtain where you freshen up before you go out on stage. And basically, a good way to explain this, I would say, is you go backstage, you get rid of those nervous jitters, and you kind of refreshing yourself before you go back on stage, okay? I mean, that's what you did when the moon was last in Cancer before you started the performance. So if you think about the last time the moon was in Cancer, during Cancer season, and then we entered Leo, right? The makeup artist got you ready, went through this Leo season, you performed, you broke through emerging talents, okay? So just to recap this whole Leo season, the idea of the sun opposing Pluto in Aquarius over the next 19 years for the first time, because we have only done this once last year when we had the Sun-Pluto conjunction at the end of Capricorn, versus this year where we had the Sun-Pluto conjunction at the beginning of Aquarius. So this is that 180-degree opposition. It's literally like you going on stage and your performance has supernatural quality versus other times you used to perform. Let's just say hypothetically you used to perform and like people might have been bored, or maybe people liked your performance and like they hit you up after the show like, it was really amazing, you really inspired me. But now for some reason you're performing and people are like throwing their panties or bras at you, or they're just like enamored. It's like you have this unique effect. It's like now there's a more extreme reaction from the crowd. Some people want to end your life. Some people want to have sex with you on stage, after the stage, using a very extreme example here. But it's like mechanisms in your performance that have been ingrained throughout the years. You're just now realizing have a unique effect that it didn't before. And that will stack exponentially over the next 19 years. Okay, it's like maybe you're on the basketball court performing on the stage in front of your audience, and like, yeah, you've always crossed someone over before. You've always I don't know why I'm using basketball analogies. I've been watching YouTube videos. You run up and make the layup off the post, but now you realize, I don't even know what off the post really means. I just kind of said that. You realize now that the same skills, the same talents and abilities you had on the court have a much stronger effect. Your ability to drive down and make a layup, or your ability to shoot a three-pointer, is so much more crisp. It's so much more automatic. You're realizing that the same routine that had you average like 26 points a game or 13, you're averaging like 30, 40. And now you're like, wow, there's an exponential increase of the talent that I already had that over the next 19 years I can build off of. It's like a new average. It's like a new base. But I want to use a more extreme example. Like imagine if you were playing guitar on stage and you realize that your guitar playing is an aphrodisiac, and like people are just much more aroused or frustrated by you playing. And I like that example because it's taking something normal you're used to doing and it's applying a unique effect that may not make sense on the surface, and you don't have to really worry about how it works, because Virgo season is going to break down for the first time the actual practical physiological mechanics around how you're facilitating this breakthrough. But I want you to think you are Mike from the movie Like Mike, and he puts on those shoes, Like Mike, by the way, one of the best movies ever, and he puts on those shoes and he doesn't know that he's about to ball his ass. So I think that's a beautiful analogy, because I mean, he put on a pair of sneakers and started balling like every pro basketballer that's ever existed. And that's a supernatural quality based off of a regular mundane action of just putting on shoes and playing basketball. So what you're like now is the very first time he put, if you haven't seen Like Mike, are you serious? Are you serious? Lil Bow Wow is one of the greatest actors of all time, other than rappers. And I'm not talking about Bow Wow. He was Lil Bow Wow then. All right. And if you didn't grow, I'm not even going to say anything. But that being said, you just put those sneakers on. He didn't know he was going ball ridiculous, and that's what he did. There's an initial shock, like, wow, I did that. And people are looking at you like, wow, were you always this good? Holy crap. Versus after the montage, where he's already used to wearing the shoes, one of my best analogies ever, I know, where he's already used to wearing his sneakers, and now he's just, of course, going through the plot progression of, is he gonna win without the sneakers? You're not there yet. Right now, you just put the sneakers on, and you just put a star-studded supernatural performance that has people wondering, what the fuck? Boom. Now the moon is back in Cancer, and you're backstage like, oh my God, what the fuck? Holy shit. Oh my God, I just did that. Wow. And now the old feelings you had that you, before you played the game, were like, can I do this? Can I really win? You didn't know you're about to ball ridiculous with magical shoes, which I can't believe a Pisces starred in Like Mike about shoes, and Pisces rules the feet. I just got that right now. That's crazy. But you didn't know before you went on stage you're about to ball ridiculous. You just had the game. You ball ridiculous. Now you're backstage. And now you're realizing, oh my gosh, I'm about to finesse the whole game. So that's what this transit is. You're transcending old feelings. You see, you're not the person who just put on a regular pair of sneakers and was just maybe averaging 5 points a game. And I hate that I'm using basketball analogies, but now you dropping 40, bruh. Now you're dropping 40 and people can't even believe it. Trust me when I say you're going to be in an initial state of shock. You're going to wonder, can I do that again? Is that something I can do? But you already did it. So this is about, if you knew that you had a magical pair of basketball shoes that could have you drop 30 to 40 points on average a game on command, how would you feel after you just dropped 40? You would now transcend your old feelings. Now you would feel as someone that's like, wow, with these shoes, and the shoes represent your talents that you're emerging. It's not some plot device where you found on the bucket. You've been honing this for years, but for the purpose of this analogy, the way you feel would totally change forever. Because now you know when you play that next game, you're about to drop another 40. In fact, you might even try and take it further. And that's where we get to the Virgo montage scene. All right. So if you saw in that movie, there was a montage, all of Virgo season with the eclipse is going to be a life-changing montage with these established talents. So then the moon's going to go into Leo, and this is going to be you extending this transcendence relative to how much more lit you feel now that you realize you have some supernatural magical basketball shoes that have you drop 40 to 50 points on average every game. You're a superstar now. Boom. What the fuck is good? Welcome. Congratulations. And that's legitimately how I have to feel. Whether you're doing manifestation, whether you're just living your life, it doesn't matter. You're Bow Wow now, and you have a supernatural pair of basketball shoes that will make you realize everyone want to be like Mike. So everybody want to be like Mike. You know what I said? My bad. That being said, I got carried away. That's how you have to feel. That's how you have to feel. So if you don't feel like that, put on some basketball shoes, imagine they're magical, and that you just dropped 60. How would you feel? How would you drop 60 points in like the first half of the game? How would you feel? Good, that's how you feel. So that being said, once the moon reaches 27 degrees Cancer, we're going to begin this transcendence. You're going to make obsolete the old way you'd perform. What do I mean? When Mike, who was played by Lil Bow Wow at the time, goes on the basketball court, that old feeling of, all right, hopefully I'm going to drop like 20 this game. My goal is for 30. That's replaced with, I might drop 50. I might drop 50 or 60 if I feel like. You see the difference? You see the bravado and confidence? I got a magical pair of supernatural basketball kicks. I might drop 60 if I feel like it. That's your attitude from now on. And it's going to make obsolete the way you used to feel before, because you spent an entire 3.5 weeks. See, for him, it was literally just one scene where he found the shoe. For you, it was 3.5 weeks of activating, cycle, integrating it, and breaking it through. And thankfully, everything that the moon in Capricorn helped you realistically integrate practically relative to these new emerging talents and passion that Leo as the first social zodiac sign has you express on stage socially with others, hence requiring courage, because you have to have some level of courage to put yourself out there on stage where the whole audience is judging you and frying you real time. And then you have to also get there. It's a lot. So this is why social activity is filled with anxiety. Not for me. I'm just lazy. But that being said, okay, everything you learn in the moon in Capricorn to integrate this, hold on, y'all gonna be talking about chapstick. I forgot. Everything you did with the moon in Capricorn to integrate this, now the moon in Cancer is having you feel how you've transcended this. So a lot of this is really based on the integration and hard work you've done to take this passion and to step by step with the discipline of Capricorn during that moon in Capricorn. This is a lot of fucking jargon. During this moon in Capricorn transit, tie it together. Then the moon in Aries, right? You turn that habit into a philosophical understanding of how your identity is now integrating the discipline, right? So now how do you feel about that? You feel like you just put on a pair of supernatural, magical basketball shoes and you're dropping 60 every night just because you feel like it. Literally, though, that's the end. Listen, that's Leo. Leo is like Ja Morant after he dropped 40 and dunked on everybody. He says, a party in my city. Like, it doesn't matter. You have to be Ja Morant for the rest of this Leo season and pull out the pistol before you get suspended by the NBA for no reason. He should have never been suspended for that. Hot take. I feel like you guys overreacted. But that being said, why this is important is that we're going to end this Leo season and we're going to go into Virgo season and you're going to crunch numbers, because now you have a supernatural plot device and now you have to understand how to integrate that in your life and make it a part of your living. Just like after he got those shoes, he had to play a regular season and he had to integrate that within his lifestyle to make his dreams come true. This might be one of my best Magic Moon messages ever in my life. By the way, the first CD I ever bought ever in my life was when I was 16 or 17 in Kansas, and I got Bow Wow Wanted. You ain't fresh as I'm is. Let me hold you. First album I ever bought from the store ever. And then the next album I got was College Dropout in my East Brunswick high school library. I didn't know you can rent music. And it is what it is. I clearly listened to the greats back in the day. So that's all you have to feel. As the moon goes through the 11th house signature, you're going to be feeling what the moon in Gemini has brought in through the rewards, the shift of your mindset towards how you feel. But I don't have that much time left to say this message. Just know your trend. Actually, I could upload up to 20 minutes now, so I might actually go over the 15. What's up? Just know that the first part of this moon in Cancer is going from late Gemini to late Cancer. So as of now, we're still in the Aquarius signature. This is where when we calculate the phases, we don't go just by sign, we go by degree. And this is how they can blend into degree, because it's not really just cookie cutter. So we came into this reward, the true rewards, seeing who's truly on your side, seeing what mindset and ideas you are aligning, so that now that your mind has changed, obviously at the end of this transit, you're coming into a true understanding of how these emerging talents you have completed, which you update every year like a firmware update. Now you're applying this mindset towards how you feel now that you just dropped 60 after putting on these magical shoes, and you're like, how the fuck do I feel? I didn't even know I could do this. Boom. Then the moon's going over Jupiter in Cancer and Venus in Cancer. So you're already immediately getting hit with brand deals and endorsements like, whoa, we didn't even know you can do that. Wow, we need to know. It's that. You got this. You got this. Okay, I want you to put on some basketball shoes, go to the nearest court, and drop 40 right now. I need to stop using basketball analogy. That being said, okay, this is beautiful because, of course, the square to Saturn and Neptune is going to challenge this radical redefinition of your new self. New year, new you, but really it's new era, new you. New world order, new you. New world order, new you. I wish I was fucking joking. I really wish. New world order, new you. Now, that being said, the square is going to deepen how you can understand this aspect of your character while still maintaining this new version of the authenticity. Old world you used to accept bullshit from people who didn't even know what they were talking about. And some of you watching are like, who? I never did that in my life. I see you. New world you don't even tolerate that. So how do you maintain sincerity while still defining this unfuckwitableness in a Saturn and Aries that will slap even the judge? Don't slap the judge. Don't get a battery charge. But that being said, you are reimagining the integrity of your character. The square with Cancer is going to revisit how much deeper Jupiter has expanded this understanding of this new character. So imagine you're a part of a fighting game and a new version of your character has been unlocked. You haven't fleshed it out yet. You haven't brought it through the one-player campaign, the story mode. You're just putting it through the story mode. You're familiar with the game, but it's a new version of you with new moves and techniques. So that's it. The moon's going to go into Leo, and after you've settled through the feeling of, wow, I really accomplished this, then you want to, when the moon goes into Leo, get your Ja Morant on. I might just drop 70 in this bitch. Yeah, I know, my neighbors, blah, blah, blah. You might feel even more. You have to have that confidence. Whether you drop 10 or 11, you have to act as if you can drop 70 points at will. When you walk up to that lady or that male, you need to walk up like, yeah, I just dropped 70 tonight. What's up, baby? Can I take you out? Even if you don't have NBA money. This is what courage and confidence can do for you. And this is how you end Leo season off with a fucking flashbang before we go into one of the most important Virgo seasons we have ever had as a humanity. Am I exaggerating? I'm allowed to. It's Leo season. You guys stay blessed as always. And until next time, I hope somebody exaggerates how much they love you as much as Fat Joe exaggerates most, if not all, his stories. Unless you're gullible like me and you actually believe he's telling the truth. Peace.